Peace and blessings. This is Raisa Kiwala, the divorced Muslim coach. And today we are going to be talking about verse 45 from Surah Nisa. And it goes, but Allah knows your enemies very well. Allah is enough as a friend, and Allah is enough as a supporter. And every time I read that, I think, wow, like, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our owner, our master, our creator, is telling us that I'm enough for you if you have me as your friend, if I'm supporting you. So, are we trusting that? Are we believing that? And are we believing that that is enough, really, right? The Lord of the worlds and the controller of everything. Are we believing that if we have Allah on our side, that doesn't matter what we have to face, right? And what could be better than this? Having a friend like Allah, with the power that Allah has, being the most just and the subduer, and all of those wonderful attributes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. And if we're really believing this at the deep subconscious level, then what's all the worry about, right? And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to reassure us of that. The problem is what happens is that when we forget this, right? Because right now, we're talking about it, we're remembering it. And what happens is that when we lose sight of it, and it's not in the front of our mind, it's in the back of our mind, and we forget, we lose sight of it, we get lost or off track in terms of our thinking. So this is a way to really believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our provider and our protector. So what does that mean for me and for you, right? So, and I'm going to break this down in terms of applying it in situations where there's hardship or injustice, and for example, in terms of divorce, because this is what my expertise and where I work with and where I support people with. And so, for example, do you have to go after people to demand that justice, and by any means or any cost necessary to get the justice that you deserve? And perhaps no matter what you do or how you try to force that, you may still never receive the justice that you deserve when you have experienced an injustice, which a lot of times happens when you have broken marriages and there's separation, right? People often feel that way. And so who is listening to you, who is hearing you, and who is believing you, and who can give you that relief and that peace from that sense of justice, or that you deserve, or the injustice that you face, or perhaps even the oppression or abuse that you have faced, right? Do you need to go out and take that revenge? And yes, maybe it's your right to do that, in certain situations, but focusing your energy on that may not lead to the outcome that you're looking for. And what is the point of that, right? So here in this verse, it's really Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, you don't have to worry about taking care of all that. You got me as your friend. You got me, as a support, someone who's going to support you. So what does that mean for you and I? That means that what we need to do is focus on what is Allah looking to us from? What is He expecting from us from? Is He expecting, us to be at our highest level, our best self? What does that look like? That is really, really hard, especially when you're in these type of stressful situations and tests, right? Can we focus on our relationship with Allah? Can we focus on our relationship with ourselves? Can we do things like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed when Abu Bakr Siddiq found out about the people who were spreading rumors and slandering his daughter, how, he stopped giving financial support to that person, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse where He said that, wouldn't you want Allah to be kind and merciful and forgive you? So continue doing what you're doing and leave that in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hands. So, and I found this to be true for my own self, to do the right thing. And when I focused on trying and persevering to do the right thing according to Allah, Allah took care of all of that. He took care of all of the harm and the injustice, and really He was my eyes, my ears, my protector, my provider, my maintainer, my friend, and my supporter, that I didn't need to have other people doing these things for me, as long as I believed and that Allah was this support for me, then, I could worry about living a life that was pleasing Allah and doing what is right, not what, not what I feel like doing, based on my hurt and my feelings. And I had a client, and who was going through a situation where she was stuck in, okay, well, if I do the right thing, then this could happen and that could happen, and I could be vulnerable in this situation, and I could be taken advantage of in this situation. And as we work through it, she was able to get to that level of tawakkul, that, wait a minute, why am I worrying about outcomes in the future, when if I leave it to Allah and I do what's pleasing to Him, He's surely going to take care of me. And if I believe that everything comes from Him, then I'm not going to go wrong. And I'm not saying that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of everything and everyone in the most just ways, because He is the most just, and you will get that from Him. And I'm not saying in any way that your ex is your enemy or anything like that. I'm just saying that when we are separating and divorcing, that those feelings come up a lot, of injustice, of oppression, of unfairness, of hurt, of anger, of pain. And we can easily lose sight of this when we're dealing with the shame and the stigma that's coming from divorce, right? We have to carry that load. We have to fight our own justice. We have to fight all the opinions of what people think of us, and how that affects our actions, of how we show up, rather than leaning on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why I'm running a masterclass on May 28th, called The D Word, Why is Divorce Such a Dirty Word, where we are going to be talking about all the ramifications of the stigma and stereotypes around divorce, and we'll talk about what is getting in the way of successfully navigating divorce with the taqwa and the peace, no matter what your situation is. And so click on the link below and sign up to get all of the details and reserve your spot. I hope this video was helpful for you. And if it was, please like it and share it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.